Hi, everyone. Today we're going to explore a fascinating topic reproduction. You've probably seen humans having babies, trees growing from tiny seeds, and bacteria multiplying super fast. But have you ever wondered how this happens? What's the secret behind all living things creating new life? The answer is reproduction. So, what exactly is reproduction? Reproduction is the process by which living organisms produce their offsprings to continue their species. Simply put, reproduction is how living things make new life of their own kind. It's the way life continues and ensures that species don't disappear. For example, humans have babies, trees grow from seeds, and tiny bacteria can divide and make millions of new bacteria in just a few hours. All of these are examples of reproduction happening around us every day. Now, reproduction doesn't happen the same way for all living things. Broadly, there are two main types: asexual reproduction, where only one parent is involved, and sexual reproduction, where two parents contribute to creating offspring. Let's dive into each type and see how they work. Asexual reproduction needs only one parent. There is no male and female involvement and no fusion of gametes. The parent simply produces a new organism, usually identical to itself. It is quick, simple, and mostly happens in small organisms and many plants. For examples, bacteria reproduce by simply splitting into two. Hydra reproduces by budding, where a small part grows on its body and turns into a new hydra. Some plants like potatoes and onions also reproduce asexually. Here's a key point that in asexual reproduction, the offspring are almost identical to the parent. That's why we call them clones. Now let's move to sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction requires two parents, a male and a female. Both produce special sex cells called gametes. The male gamete, sperm, fuses with the female gamete, egg, to form a zygote, and this zygote grows into a new organism. For examples, this type of reproduction takes place in humans, animals like dogs and cats, and also in flowering plants. And here is the key point in sexual reproduction. Offspring are not identical. They show variation and are genetically different from their parents. That's why no two humans look exactly the same. Except identical twins? Let's compare both in an easy way. In asexual reproduction, only one parent is needed, but in sexual reproduction, two parents are needed. Asexual reproduction is fast, however, sexual reproduction is slower. Furthermore, asexual reproduction produces identical offspring, while sexual reproduction produces different and unique offspring. Asexual reproduction usually occurs in microorganisms and some plants, whereas sexual reproduction occurs in humans, animals, and many plants. Asexual reproduction is simple method of reproduction, while sexual reproduction is complex method of reproduction. Here is something interesting. Some organisms can do both types of reproduction depending on conditions. Nature is really amazing. So, let's quickly summarize what we learned today. Reproduction is the process by which living things produce new individuals. It is essential for survival of species. There are two main types of reproduction. Asexual reproduction, one parent, fast, identical offspring. Sexual reproduction, two parents, slower, produces variation. Now it's your turn. Can you name one organism that reproduces asexually and one that reproduces sexually? Think about it and answer in the comments. Thanks for watching, and keep learning because biology is life.